Conti. Of course, one of the big things that we've seen, with on the wide scale of things, the ongoing conflict in Iran
Mhm.
and how this is impacting gas prices. You're kind of keeping us up to date with how this is impacting diesel prices specifically. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So gas prices go up, that means diesel prices go up too. When one component, oil prices go up, that means, everything's going to be thrown off track and the markets are just going to go berserk. So particularly diesel prices have gone up all over the country, but kind of when you're looking at the numbers, gas prices, obviously they're up here in East Texas, but they're not up as bad as other places around the country. But here, diesel prices are pretty much as bad as they are in other parts of the country as well. So, talking to truckers and trucking companies about, what are you doing? And basically, the answer I got was, we're just having to plan, having to be, figure out what we're going to do in the future. And the big answer is we don't really know. We don't know how long this war is going to last. So just being responsible, not running the truck if you don't have to, planning trips in advance, all the things they do normally, but just kind of taking it to the next step. And so I believe diesel is at 4.94 here in Tyler, which is only 30 cents away from the all-time record, which is pretty crazy. But if you look at normal gasoline prices, I don't know that I think it's 3.63, but the record for that is like somewhere in the four, so we're still $1 off of that.
Goodness.
So it's for some reason the diesel prices are a whole lot higher as opposed to normal gasoline prices. And that comes down to a lot of things in the
Okay.
market. But yeah, so it's interesting that we're getting the effects of, the diesel prices are that much higher here, in addition to all over the country. Not that normal gas doesn't suck here as somebody who pays for gas, but it's just
Right.
interesting.
Yeah, it is very, very interesting. And who did you get to talk to about, all
Yeah,
of
so we
this?
spoke to AAA, and then we
Okay.
also went out to a gas station or a truck stop today and spoke to some truckers.
Okay, let's hear more.
As the war goes on and we don't really know when it's going to end, gas prices keep going up. What is your advice to drivers, as gas prices keep going up?
Well, there's a few things that you can do to at least minimize some of the pain to your wallet. So that means like we know driver behavior is the number one factor when it comes to maximizing your fuel efficiency. So avoiding aggressive driving, quick accelerations, try to drive at a smooth pace, especially on the highway. You don't want to do stop and go. That really eats up your fuel. In fact, you can lose 15 to 30% of your fuel efficiency just by hard accelerations and slowing down, then accelerating again. Vehicle maintenance, super important, especially your tires. Healthy tires are not only essential for safety, but also for fuel efficiency. And then also, you can do things, especially if you have a smaller vehicle, lighten your load, take things out of your vehicle, things like that. That can help as well. Also, there's apps like the AAA mobile app. You can use that to find the cheapest gas near you. Yeah, yeah. Diesel's more expensive in general, but when you look at, let's see, so today diesel in Tyler is sitting at 4.94 a gallon. So, it's about 35 cents away from the record, which was set in 2022. Today, the average for gasoline is 3.64. Not close to the record. In fact, it's $1 off. So, it's still $1 below the record set in 2022. But, gas prices have really significantly increased over the last month. When you compare it to a year ago, the price is about $1 more in Tyler. So, certainly in the last few weeks, we've seen the price really spike, and that's because crude oil prices have elevated since the issue in Iran. So, certainly when the main ingredient in gasoline sees a spike in price, and now crude's over $100, we see much higher gas price what's playing out now.
hmm So if this war ended tomorrow, it would still, take a while for things to get back to normal. Am I correct?
Yeah, probably. Historically, when crude oil prices come up and then when they settle back down, it takes retail gas prices a little bit longer to come down. So yeah, just because so if everything were to suddenly, you know, go back to normal as far as crude oil supply, you wouldn't necessarily see gas prices come down as quickly.
And why is that exactly?
So it takes the market some time to settle following a situation. Historically, prices go up much faster than they come down.
hmm Is there anything else I'm missing or anything else the public needs to know?
Well, as far as when prices will come down, we don't know. Certainly, there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding the situation overseas, but it's really going to depend on how markets react and how that impacts the cost of crude oil. And crude oil is a globally traded commodity. So even though we don't get our crude from Iran, that's why you're seeing the domino effect here and the impact in the United States as well.
So you've seen prices go up and down.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
what's it like this time,
Well, this time I've got my own truck, and so yeah, it's really hitting me. If you're a company driver, they pay you a certain amount, whatever it is, percentage or cents per mile, and that doesn't change. When you've got your own truck, you really notice it. Like I just got fuel the other day. I got over 200 gallons, and I had to spend over $1,000 to get it.
Yeah.
So.
What's it like having to change? How are you planning differently when prices are this high?
Well, you don't run your truck any more than you have to. You think about things, it just makes you think about everything and how it all fits together.
What kind of work are you doing driving around? And like
I haul hot oil and asphalt.
how are you planning long term? We have no idea how long this war is going to last. No idea, if the war ends, when prices come back.
Well, it's like in 2021, 22, when it happened before, there were guys that were parking their trucks, and those that weren't were seriously thinking about it, So the longer this goes on and the worse it gets, obviously it's going to have a detrimental effect to it.